We started recording, and before we start the actual panel discussion, I would like to present to you some information about mentorship program itself. So let me share the screen. All right. During the last months, we've done with the team, we've done a really great job for preparing all the materials and the whole process for the launch of mentorship program 4.0. We already organized several cycles of this program, and as you can see, we're getting more and more applications from mentees and mentors. The previous cycle we matched already 38 pairs, and they had mentorship sessions during 6 months, and the feedback was positive. And let's look at some feedback from mentees. They are very happy that they had the really great mentors who helped them to enhance their skills and improve CV and LinkedIn profile and prepare for the interview. This program was helpful not only for mentees, but also for mentors. This is really rewarding for us to know that mentors are also learning from this experience a lot. For this cycle, we prepared a new website where you can see all the mentors and all the resources. Each mentor has its own profile now with short descriptions, his preferable format of mentorship relationships, all the resources, guides for successful mentorship. Apart from long-term mentorship, we provide opportunity to have one-time sessions with mentors and many more. So you can visit our website if you haven't done it yet, using this QR code, or we will provide a link after the presentation. We are going to support you along the way. How? We will provide templates in Notion for tracking your progress during the program. To get to know each other or share experience, we will provide opportunity to join our catch-ups for mentors and mentees, and we'll be supporting you generally, providing general support. This year, we are going to support two formats of mentorship relationships. A long-term mentorship cycle, what we did before, but we extended the duration. We're expecting this program lasts from April to November, and ad hoc format schedule. You can schedule one-time mentorship sessions with mentors. We will start it from the April. If we also looking for mentors, you still have a couple of days to apply for long-term mentorship, but after that you can definitely apply for ad hoc format as well. And also mentees, attention, you have just I don't know, less than 1 week already to apply and register for our mentorship program. Hurry up. Please visit our website if you haven't done this, learn about our timeline, and if you have any questions, we prepared a frequent asked questions section. This is very big list already questions we are getting from participants, and if you didn't find any questions what you're looking for, please ask us, ask mentorship program team by mail or in Slack. And big thanks to the team and contributors. You've done really big job in terms of preparing for this big cycle. And if you would like to join the team, please reach out to us. We have a lot of tasks, a lot of ideas we want to implement, and you can even come up with something new. Yeah, thank you very much. And please welcome our panelists today on the topic, what makes a good mentor. And we gathered experienced mentors today who can share us all the insights and experience on this big topic on mentorship. And I will introduce quickly who we have now. Adriana Zenck Zimmermann, Senior Software Engineer, Personio. Aishwarya Nair, Data Scientist, Trivago. Anna Nogal, iOS Engineer, Novoda. Andrew King, Site Reliability Engineer at Dojo. They will introduce themselves a bit later. This is just short introduction. And throughout our discussion, we will uncover some key qualities and traits which should have each successful mentor. And maybe you remember when you applied for this session, we asked only one question: what is the main reason for attending this panel discussion? And many responders expressed an interest in learning how to become a good mentor, improving their mentoring skills, and gaining knowledge about mentoring. Some of you expressed an interest in networking, being part of a community, hearing different perspectives, and connecting with mentors and colleagues. And some of you expressed an interest in career guidance on mentoring. So I hope that today's discussion during this discussion, we will uncover all your questions and all your queries. We will answer all of them. I hope I will have enough time for that. And I would encourage everyone today to be proactive and ask questions in the chat. It would help us to understand what you're looking for today. After the actual panel discussion, we will pick the most interesting questions and we will address them at the end. So, and let's start. Let's start with introduction. I would like to ask every panelist to introduce yourself. And please tell us how you first got involved into mentoring experience, and how is this journey so far for you? Let's start with Adriana.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Adriana. I'm a senior backend engineer. I'm originally from Brazil, but I lived in Germany for the last 7 years, and now I'm in Spain. As mentorship, officially, I'm a mentor for almost 1 year now, but extra officially, I would say that since I remember working as an engineer, I try to support my colleagues, and I read before that it feels like if you are supporting anyone in your company and doing some effort, that's part of the mentorship. So you are a mentor as well. So we all are mentors at some point. But that's my starting, and I realized that I would like to do more. And then I joined Women Who Code and share, I saw the volunteers opportunities, and then I thought, okay, yeah, I can give a try. And then I officially applied to be a mentor and to be a mentee last year, which was really nice. So I got to I decided to take some mentees, and I got a mentor, which was both directions really good for me. So that's kind of my whole coming to become a mentor and to become a mentee at the same time. So now I will ask Aisha, maybe you want to continue?
Sure. My real name is Aishwarya Nair. I come from India, and for the last 3.5 years, I have been living here and working in Germany. So I usually ask people to call me Aisha because that's a much better and shorter way to call me. I work as a data scientist over here, and here at Trivago, we have an organization. We have a small group which we call as FAME, which stands for Female Ambassadors and Mentors in Engineering. It was basically created for all women to have role models in the tech and engineering field, have mentors, and to look forward. So as a very enthusiastic person, I joined this group. And as a member of this group, I was very motivated to find organizations which provided communities where I could apply as a mentor, find mentees. And like Adriana already mentioned, I was already working, I was already helping and being a mentor without even realizing it. So for me, since the last year, I was already a mentor in the Women Who Code mentorship program. And I had a mentee, and it was an amazing journey for me. And after that, I also still have 3 mentees in my current company who I meet with, and we have mentorship sessions. So yeah, that's how I got involved in mentorship, and it's a very deep passion for me to continue with it. So I'll nominate someone, I guess, and I'll nominate Anna.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm an iOS developer at Novoda. And yeah, I started mentoring around 2 years ago, more or less. And I started because of Women Who Code. I participated in the, I think it was the first mentorship program, but not as a mentor, but as a mentee. And yeah, I loved it. And then I said to myself, well, maybe I could be a mentor, no? But I never, and I really didn't have the courage to apply. But then in my company, I just went to, we had at the time, I was in a different company, we had a group of women too, and we met, and I just mentioned, oh, I would love to do mentoring, but I don't know how or where and how to start. And then I had one of the women, Vanessa, she was bold enough to come to me and ask me to be her mentor. And after that, when I looked, I had 3 mentees, and I just loved it. And it was amazing. And after that, I couldn't stop. I changed companies because now I'm in a kind of an agency. I don't have somebody to mentor inside of the company, but I do it outside. And I joined this year the Women Who Code program. So hope I can help. So I passed it to you, Andrew.
Hi, thank you, Anna. I'm Andrew King, currently working at Dojo as a site reliability engineer. My career started over 30 years ago, and my mentoring started about 25 years ago. I was asked to mentor somebody who wanted to transition from being in a test team into a developer role. And that was like asked of me. I didn't kind of realize it was mentoring, but I said, okay, I'll help. and really enjoyed that experience. And so on and off, very unofficially, I ended up mentoring in almost every firm I worked in. Properly mentoring, I think, was probably when I was at Morgan Stanley. I did a lot of graduate interviews and then was asked, would I help onboard graduates through mentoring? So that was a great experience, taking young people with no work experience and helping them integrate into a work environment, which is hard work. It's hard work joining anyway, but it's hard work when this is your first role. So that was great, and enjoyed that. And then I tended to do it within firms on official programs, which was great. And then one of my friends, Helen, who is part of Women Who Code, was asking around for mentors and said, would I join? I'd never considered, obviously I'm not a woman, but she said, no, it'd be great to have somebody, especially somebody who'll also be an advocate. So I've been doing it for I think 3 years now and really enjoying it. So started at the very beginning of this program, and it's a great program. It's great to meet all different people and actually be able to take on board those experiences that some of them I don't have myself because I'm not a woman, and I get a woman's point of view of what's happening to them in the work environment. And it really helps me in my own work environment to avoid pitfalls and help bring people along and not make assumptions about what they're thinking, why they're reacting the way they are. So mentoring for me really helps develop me as an individual, and hopefully, I mean, my mentees seem to keep in touch, so hopefully I'm actually doing something in the reverse as well. But I feel mentoring is something that's really great.
Thank you very much. Awesome stories. I'm very excited to hear more about your experiences. And there are so many comments coming in the chat. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's start with the first question. And my first question to Aisha. How do you define a good mentor? What are the key qualities and traits do you think effective mentors should have?
Well, when I was asked this question, I started ranting off a list of a lot of qualities, and I thought, wait, those qualities are something that are essential for me personally, but if you ask a wider set of audience, these qualities would change. So I would say it's very difficult to like generalize and say how should a good mentor be. But I think of being a mentor as a people-oriented role and somebody who has to like deal with people. And for me, empathy ranks first. How you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, listen to them actively and understand where they're coming from. So that helps really build this trust and helps the mentee like open up with you. So I feel like empathy is something that, at least for me personally, I rank at the top when I think of being an effective mentor or having like an effective mentorship relationship.
Right, interesting. And Anna, maybe you have something to add.
Well, I think that Aisha has said everything. No, you have to be empathic and love what you do. I am a lot about feeling stuff. I'm not. So if you love what you are doing, you definitely open up to be more empathic with your mentor, have patience, be more humble, communicate better. All of these is skills that you should have to be a good mentor. But essentially, if you are doing it from your heart, you definitely are in a good place, because there's nothing better than you give everything to be a good mentor and try to do your best. And with that, if you are so motivated naturally your mentee is going to be motivated to learn and to apply, and because sometimes we put homework and things like that, and it's like but they apply it, they do it because it's better, it's for their growth. And when you live it passionately, it's easier for them then to go and continue the work and feel it motivated to continue, and to do it. So I think that's the best we can do.
Yeah, that's great points. So I really share your points, love and empathy and listening to what the mentees wants to achieve. And it takes you everything. Like if you like it, if you're listening to people, then everything will be right on track. That's good points. And yeah, all of the people like commenting, like love what you do, empathy, great points. Good. And we will continue with another point. Andrew, you mentioned that you already involved into mentoring many years. And how do you balance needs of mentees? You have a lot of responsibilities now at work and in personal life. And how do you balance needs of mentees and your personal needs, your personal schedule? And how do you ensure that you are giving enough to mentee?
I mean, it's definitely a commitment. Like you can't sort of say, oh, I want to mentor and then never make time and keep cancelling or pushing or postponing meetings. So I think a lot of it is like, if you want to do it and if you love doing it, which I mean, I'm hearing from the others, they do as well, then you will find the time. And I think it is just making it a priority. If I commit to a particular mentee, then I will commit that time. I mean, other than disasters, which do happen, that's fine. Everybody has that. But otherwise, I will fully commit and always make sure, like, especially if I have a regular schedule, like I will commit to that time. I will push, I'll push work meetings in advance of my mentor-mentee meetings, because I think it is a #1 priority for me. So I mentor within my firm, but I mentor here externally. And that is like something that at worst, I will just shift something around. And I think, making that space, like not just with time, but also headspace, because it does take bandwidth from you. But I feel it just repays so much that it's worth actually making that space to do it. And sometimes it just uplifts me. So I might be having a bad time, I might be struggling, but I speak to my mentee, and like I say, it's not a one-way relationship. It's definitely very much two-way. And I often come out of those meetings and I just feel so much better. I've given somebody time. I've like learned from them as well, hopefully imparted something as well. And I think it's just great. So yeah, find the time, find the headspace, and it's well worth it.
Okay, good points. Maybe Adriana, you also have something to add, because I know that you're not only working, but you have 2 children. Yes,
2 boys. Yes.
How you balance?
I think yeah, this is a very tricky question, but I think the key, as Andrew said, that if you do as you like, you give priority. So of course, I would say my children are my priority, right? So I try to make a balance of work, children, and mentorship, giving priorities and rebalance and shift a bit of my schedule. And gladly, so far, I have a mentor and mentees that also understand, because sometimes, yes, unfortunately, I have to reschedule some meetings, and the same happen to them because, yes, life happens, right? But I think when you have an open communication, and this is a two-way and relationship, of course. So mentees also has the same situation, problems, concerns, meetings. So that's we try to make happen to us and adapt the schedule. For example, I don't have much free time for a call every week. but I have different channels of communication with my mentees and with my mentor. For example, we do a sync communication. So I don't want them to be blocked waiting for me, so they can drop me a message on Slack. And another thing that I think it's important is to be clear with your goals and as a mentee and as a mentor, how can you support? And then I think you try to give priority, what is more important to the mentee and that to the mentor that also can support during the journey, because then you can balance the priority and see where do you put more energy, because sometimes you need to focus more in some topics and you have more heart, more enthusiasm in some topics as well, that you can support more your mentee as well there. But again, two ways, kind of there is a bidirectional communication and relationship. So just sync, talk, and make a good schedule with your mentee. And if you don't need to keep the whole year schedule, but you can check the time is working, is not, and then you can change. That's how we try to make happen.
Yeah, thank you. A very good point. So, and just summarize, to balance, we need to need to understand that we are committed first. We need to have a headspace in your mind and just understand needs of the mentees. And also very good point that we are all human and we have our lives going, but bidirectional communication is important for everyone. If we understand each other, okay, today we postponing this meeting, but tomorrow we will meet eventually. And I think communication also helps. We can talk in channels, but after that we can talk during the meeting. Yeah, good point. So we will go further. Anna, I think this question for you. How do you handle, probably you had some difficult situation during mentor-mentee relationships, and how do you handle this kind of situation? How do you address conflicts, ensure that relationships remains healthy enough?
Well, in reality, until now, I have been very, very lucky and I have not had conflicts. So I'm glad for that. But generally, what I try to do is that in our first call, I try to understand how the mentee is on the mentorship, what is their objectives, what they want, and what they think that they expect from me, because sometimes they have an idea that is completely different from what I'm willing to offer. And that could be one of the conflicts, no? That they are thinking that I'm going to be there every time and responding completely every second that they push the question, I'm answering, or things like this. And I generally try to give them and explain that I'm working and explaining the times and how can I help, explaining that in my case, no, because I'm as a developer, they need to do code. I cannot do code for them, no, and so they have to apply, they have to come and be there and have themselves time. I can guide them, give them articles to read and things like that, but I cannot read things for them. So they have to do the work too. It's not just me helping them and guiding them. They have to participate in that. And so in the first call, I generally decide if I want to continue the mentorship or not, because if I feel that the mentee is not aligned with what I'm with my values or with my what I'm willing to do for him in the mentorship. I can adapt a lot of stuff, but if I feel that this mentee is not going to put work or is not going to, be there, I cannot help him. No, he needs to be, or he or she needs to want it to be helped. No, so this in generally in the first meeting I generally noticed all of this stuff, and thank God until now I always had people very, very, very keen to learn, with lots of questions. They are curious, so it seems that they are willing and they want to do the work. It's not just, oh, you do it for me, you just tell me. And sometimes I just say, Google it, no, because sometimes they even are expecting us to find things for them, no. But yeah, and so I tend to maintain a very neutral talk, so it's not like offensive or brutal, or I don't know how to explain it. But with that, until now I've been lucky, and no big conflicts have come to. And every time if there's a problem in schedule or something like that, we can arrange it, and it's been easy, I must say. Thank God.
You're a lucky person.
Yes, until now.
Point that sometimes mentees are forgetting that mentor and Google are different things.
Yes.
Point. Yeah. Andrew, maybe this question also for you. Maybe you can add to this point, if you have.
Sure. I mean, I think to follow up on Anna, like setting boundaries is definitely a good way to hopefully avoid some of the potential issues and conflict that's going to occur. So what I can and can't do, again, the same as Anna, I'm not going to answer questions that you could probably Google yourself, and certainly I'm not going to sit and write code for you. I might throw an example that relates to what you're doing. That's true. That might help and spark things, but you're not there as a mentor to solve the problem. And I think in that way, in some ways it's similar to counseling. Like a counselor will not tell you what to do. You've got to figure out what's going to work for you. Like I can give you ideas, but I can only give you from my own experience to an extent, or those people I've spoken to. So like making sure your mentee understands those boundaries is a really good way to start, but it doesn't solve it. And I've had some mentees who just not wanted to hear, just not wanted to take things on themselves. And sometimes it comes to a very hard decision of, we have to terminate the relationship. That is, it has happened. It's not great, and I to some extent, I do feel a failure for not being able to get through. But ultimately, for everybody's health, sometimes that is what you need to do. But other times you can get through it, and you can have the hard discussion of, if it's going to continue like this, it has to stop. And I found most of the time people will respond to that, of there is a misunderstanding or there's something else going on in their life, and actually teasing that out is often the thing. That they're not having a bad relationship with you, they're having something else go on. And hopefully if you actually earn their trust, they open up, and once you understand the context, sometimes that does help get you through. So yeah, to summarize, like, set the boundaries, do try and take on board that it's maybe not that they have a problem with you, that there's something else going on, and perhaps find that out as well. But ultimately, not everybody is going to be able to have a one-on-one relationship. But the world doesn't exist like that. And sometimes you have to accept and move on. And maybe another mentor is going to be what they need. And so you holding up that process actually can make things worse.
Yeah, right. I just want to, honest conversation can help sometimes.
I just would like to add something on what Andrew said. We do feel as a failure. I had the same feeling when I had to terminate one relationship. But even though it was mentee didn't have at the time, had some personal life problem, and we both agree, okay, so let's have a break. And it feels a bit of a failure for sure. But I think that it's again, life happen, and we need to understand that they don't have the time in the moment, and we cannot support, and that's still okay to break a relationship and still have an open channel if they want to come to you back when they have the time, and that's something. And other thing that I could say is like it's not really, maybe you don't have the time to support that mentee specific, or not just about the time, but their focus or their needs are not what you can give. And also that's something that we need to keep that in mind, because it's better to end the relationship, but to have your both relationship in a good state that you can support, and the person can also learn from you, right? And of course, you learn from the experience as well, because I learn every day in every session I have with my mentees. That's kind of really important. Both of you are learning, and if that's not kind of a good or happening, then it's unfortunate. Sometimes we haven't ended.
Yeah, good points, Adriana. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think to summarize, we need to understand each other needs. If we can be help for mentee, we can help. Then if the problem from mentee side, we need to understand the problem and to have an honest conversation. Sometimes it can be hard, but without it, we can't even continue and be in healthy relationships. So we need to keep an eye on it, I think, every time we talk to our mentees. The next question, I think, Aisha, this is for you. What the strategies do you use usually to help your mentees develop their skills, and how do you encourage them to achieve their goals? How do you motivate them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at first, I think in the first session that I have with my mentees is mostly a goal setting meeting, where like Anna rightly mentioned, you talk about your motivations, what you want to do, what you is that you want to achieve from this mentorship. I have had some mentees come with expectations and say like, oh, I want to learn Python and Java and this and that language. And for me, it's really important to understand what is it that motivates them to learn that. And I would often ask them questions like, okay, I know you want to learn Python, but what do you think will help you achieve by learning that? So when you kind of ask these questions, you kind of understand like they assume certain stuff, like maybe, for example, they assume that by learning Python, they would be on track to become a data scientist and get a job. So that's the train of thought or thought process. So sometimes I have to step in just because of the experience that I've had in the industry, or because of some things that I've seen. And I would say like, sure, learning Python could be one of the few skills that we could improve on. But if your end goal is to become a data scientist or get a job as a data scientist in the industry, then we need to like change the plan. We need to create a proper plan where learning Python or some other skill is just like a small checklist. So I think first having these end goal in mind helps you set clear goals for every skill that you want to develop. And then it becomes very easy to create like an action plan for everything that you want to achieve throughout your mentorship cycle or anything. Also, I have often noticed that when there are certain things where I ask, so for example, I had a mentee who was very shy, and I encouraged her to like post about what she does on like LinkedIn or network with people. And she thought of that as boasting and not wanting to, talk much about what she does, which is actually what she has achieved, and it's not boasting. So at these times, I usually offer support to take risk because you see that somebody is struggling to take a risk because they are scared because they have never done it before. So the most that you can do is offer support to push boundaries. And when you encourage them and they go the extra mile and do what you have suggested, you can also celebrate their success and give some kind of recognition. This would definitely encourage them to take more risks in the future. So this is some kind of things that I do with my mentees so that they go above and beyond to, develop themselves, push boundaries, network, get to know everybody in their community, and grow beyond their usual circle.
Yeah, very powerful tips. Thank you very much, Aisha. Maybe Adriana, you have something to add to this?
Yeah, I think that's as Aisha said, like first thing you try to align with your mentee, what are their way of learning something, and the reasons, ask questions and understand why do they need something. Because as Aisha said, I also come to a point that someone wants to learn Google Cloud or to learn cloud providers. And then they said, okay, Google Cloud, why do you need to learn that, or why you are looking for that? It's an important topic, but it's not something that I could cover everything about it. So it's like understand why do they need, and then we can focus and reach to the direction of how can I support the better, and also in the time that we have. Because also to prepare a plan for them based on their goals and their important things that we can take care during the time, it's also very important to know. And this is very depends from person to person. So what I noticed from my mentees that they are more developers. They want to learn some technologies, or they want to improve as developers. So learn a language or learn some technology specific. I suggest offer to do some pet project that we can just put our hands and do it. Like they have their time to do on their home, and when they're struggling, we do it together. On some topics, I prepare some posts, some sessions. I can share my experience. And that for me, like, it's very important because I don't like to be blocked. So it's very helpful to have someone with experience which can support me when I'm stuck. So I try to be that person for them to keep them motivated and giving those sessions. And then, like, for example, now I'm trying the Notion template where we put all our goals there. And every meeting, we kind of go there. What did we do in the process? So we can kind of see a track of things that we did and try to show them, to see the motivation of what we already achieved in the sessions and what we have learned. And it's really kind of asking questions. Is that working for you? Are you learning that? Do you feel like you can learn in a different way? Because people can learn by books, others can learn by videos, and others just need to put a hands on. So that's really depend of person to person. It's more like align with your mentee. How can you support and how they can learn better by talking and asking questions. That's something that is very important. And for me, for example, I found very important to put hands on and to learn, because then it's also when you notice that, well, I actually don't know this, how to do that. I thought that I knew, but no. So that's kind of one thing that I try a lot, but not everybody likes. They sometimes want something that's just send me an example project and that's it. But that's not a very good way of learning, just take everything ready and copy paste. So I try to challenge in the other way around, like always talk about best practices. What are the standards on the community for the technologies? I'm really a best practice person. People hate me for that. But I try also to put that mindset in my mentees, maybe just for them to think about it, but sometimes they just are going in a different direction. It's still okay, right? Because it's wherever they are in the moment of their career and experience. So I cannot push anything and force them to do. They need to decide if it's good or not for them as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Adriana actually testing our Notion template now, how it's working. So a bit later we will also provide you with this template, and we will see how it works. And to summarize what have been said so far, we need to understand motivation and needs to support better, celebrate success. The first, we need to set the goals and understand what's the motivation, what's the big motivation for you to learn this, and this. And after that, it's much easier for you to achieve this, and for you and for the mentee as well. It's important to share experience, your personal experience, and not push everyone to go to follow this path. Just to give them space to decide, share experience, and give them space to decide, and it will be enough for them to process and not push hard and set big goals like you need to achieve this, and this, because in this way he'll be demotivated. Maybe he will just drop out. I'm not for this. Just do it in gentle way. All right. So I have now I have a really interesting question. Sometimes everything is working not so well, and all the mentorship relationship is not working out. Maybe the pair is not right, or maybe something else is coming up. And what do you do when the relationships are not working out? I don't know who can answer. Andrew, maybe you.
Sure. I guess one of the first things is to really realize that that's where you've got to. It's just not working out. It's not going to be great. It seems to be bad from both sides, and I think the first thing that I've tended to do is actually have that conversation. Is like, I don't think this is working. Whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's just the way we do and don't work together, and actually like bring it up, have the honest conversation. And one time I've had that, and it's actually just changed the relationship entirely, and it's almost restarted, because we've both admitted it wasn't working. We just weren't getting on. And I've had that with work colleagues as well, where we've had an antagonistic relationship for probably very stupid reasons, and having a reset and actually an honest conversation of like, we're just not seeing things the same way, and trying to get on the same page can sometimes be enough to reset things, and then you have a platform to move forward. Other times it's asking for help. Like, I'm having a really hard time with this person. I can't figure it out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I have a long-term mentee, my wife. She's also my best friend. She's my counselor. And probably one of the reasons that I can actually mentor other people. She's very intuitive and she can help me sort things out. So I always talk to my wife and say, this is the conversation, it's not going well. And she probably points out what I'm doing wrong and helps me fix it. But sometimes she'll say there's no way to fix it. And other times she'll give me clues. And if it's not my wife, I will look to other people. So obviously being involved in Women Who Code, I can approach people within the leadership and go, this is not working, I can't figure it out. Can you have a conversation with this person and just see if we can either work it out or whether we need to find another mentor for this person. So I think that's the thing, is it's not always within you. And it's not because you're not good enough, it's just you can't see for some reason. And so asking for help, have the conversation with the person, that's kind of where I go. And again, you know, if you have somebody else around you who you're lucky enough to have enough context about you, that can sometimes really help to solve these problems.
Thank you very much. I think it all comes with experience. Yeah, as much we are having these conversations and this kind of situations, we understand more and more in personal, in human interactions, first of all, because mentorship experience, it's about people. We need to understand each other. Who can add to this point? Maybe you know, Anna or Aisha?
Yeah, maybe I can add a point or two. So while having this conversation, I mean, it's a difficult conversation, right? To have with your mentee that something's not working out. And maybe that conversation needs to happen in a way where you don't blame anybody. So you blame the situation and say more like, look, we have, like, at least this is my point of view. I have tried XYZ and I hope for something else to happen, but I see that's not happening. And I feel this is the reason that it's not working. How do you feel about it? Maybe you see a different point of view. Maybe it's a lack of communication that you need to fix. Maybe it's a difference in perspectives. But if your mentee also feels the same and they see it as a problem which is not going to be fixed, then it's possible to like end the relationship sooner rather than later. Because if you like keep pushing and say like, let's keep continuing this, let's keep meeting, but then you have nothing to talk about, or find that you always end up hitting a wall every time you do this, it's gonna create trouble in future and you're just ending up wasting each other's time. So it's sometimes if you can't identify the issue and see if it can be fixed, it's better to chalk out like a transition phase. Basically, this happened with me when I was a mentee. I got assigned somebody who was from a very different field, and we agreed after 1 or 2 meetings that we were not best suited for each other. So I still remember that it was a very nice gesture from my previous mentor that she said, okay, till the time we find another mentee, this is what we will do. This is a transition phase. We keep meeting and I'll let you know when is your new mentee going to be assigned to you. Sorry, mentor going to be assigned to you. How do we walk through this, etc. So it was not just me waiting in like darkness, not knowing what to do next, but also somebody supporting me to transition into a different phase. So yeah, that kind of helped me or taught me how better to end relationships which are not working.
Yeah, really good, interesting experience. Yeah, so it's really important to not blame, just to have a conversation and understand that sometimes it's really not working out. Sometimes it's not clicking. Sometimes you're just, it's not your person. And there is always your person outside somewhere. You need to find him. Yeah, that's very important to have a conversation like this. Yeah, I have a like maybe a final question for everyone. Just to give to everyone a piece of motivation for young mentors, for mentees, or maybe experienced already mentors as well. I would like to I would love to ask to each other to share your experience, which taught you important lesson, whether it was successful or maybe challenged situation. What you have in mind right now. I don't know, who can I ask first? Anna, maybe you can start.
Well, an inspiration. Well, you know, sometimes you just think that you need to know everything and to help your mentees, you know, and sometimes you are there and you are super nervous because then they ask you the question that you don't know and you are, oh my God, and now what can I do, you know? And the first time I think I blanked, and then I thought, well, I'm here to help. I'm doing my best, so I cannot do more, you know. And it's okay. It's okay that you don't know. And in that case, I just said to her, well, you know, I'm going to Google it because I don't know the answer. And we Googled together and we find out together the answer, and we discuss it. And I think that for me was a big breakthrough, because I had this in my mind of being a perfect mentor. I had to do everything, you know, and that's not true. We are human beings and we learn every day too, and we are learning how to be better mentors, because this is a journey. It's not I'm appearing here and I'm the best. That's not happening. And so if you are afraid of joining this journey of being a mentor because you think that you don't have all the answers and that you cannot, oh my God, how will I answer this and that? And you naturally will know the answers. And even if you don't know, like happened to me, you will find a way to help your mentor, your mentee, and together you will get there to the right answer. And I think that's the good way to do things, you know, that you don't need to have all the answers, because you are human, and it's good for your mentee to see that you don't know everything, because that person doesn't exist, you know. That person doesn't exist. The one that knows everything, that has every answer in the point of the tongue, like we say in Portuguese. Sorry for me trying to translate it. But you know, I think that's it. And I happened to me several times that I shared situations that I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, even with my mentees, and tell them, then I did this and I did that, and I could turn around, and they would say, oh, you do that, oh my God. And you know, they thought, yeah, she's human and it's okay. And I think that's okay, because we are not superhumans, we are not superheroes or nothing like that. We are just human. We are here, we have our experience. Yes, maybe we have a little bit more experience than them, But that doesn't mean that we have to know everything, because maybe we never did something, or, and that's it. And I think that's what I would like to say to everybody that is like afraid. I was super afraid to start mentoring. I have to say, because of these two, because I will be blank and I will not know how to say things and things like this. But, now I live it like an experience is normal. It's just who you are. And if you are doing from your heart and with the best intention to help, more you cannot do. That's what I have to say to you. Oh.
Great experience. So, and Hassan said, everyone here is superhero in their own individual way. That's true. Yeah, who is next? Who's ready? Aisha, maybe you.
I can go. So I would say, like, from the point of we all have challenges, we all have situations that are not ideal at work, and that also would happen in a relationship. But as a good talk, I think that we can solve everything, and I'm very. I think a good talk from what Anna said is like, I don't know everything, and that's one of the most reasons, I would say, for me to be a mentor, because I do know some things, but whenever I have to teach or to talk, to tell someone, I just come to realize, okay, I need to think, to give examples, and then I somehow absorb better what I know, and I can do other research, and I try to support the mentees on that way, or like to also to see that we are whole human beings and we are imperfect, and we have a lot to learn. So that's kind of one key that I would take from situations. So, for example, if I would say, I noticed in some of my mentees in the past, they were not really motivated and was skipping some session, rescheduling all the time, which I said, okay, it happens, right? But that for me, I got prepared, I reserved the time, and just 5 minutes before the person said, I'm sorry, I cannot. And this was happening several times. So there was a challenge for me. Okay, how do I do it? How can I make this person more motivated to keep happening? And in the end, I came to realize that, okay, maybe that was not a good time for her. And I feel bad because I really want to support her. I knew that I could support, but she was not in the moment for that. And she said, okay, I have a different priorities, I'm sorry. And that ended. So those are kind of situations that happen. They are not really good, but I think it's good for us also to learn how to deal with those failures or with those not really always nice situations, because this happen all the time in our life. So we need to learn by that, and those situations will happen often in life, and then that's also good for you as a mentor and as a mentee, because I also have the same relationship with another person that maybe we could have some situations that we don't understand, or I can ask, please, can you guide me more in this direction, because maybe I'm lost here. And that's kind of the thing that you just need to give a lot of feedback. And that's what I also encourage my mentees to give feedback, ask feedback. Then you know that you don't have any blind spot, and then you know where you should dedicate more effort if you think that's important to you, and also from your work, your community, and your life. And this is kind of a good thing, I would say, out of some problems that can happen in the process.
Yeah, great experience. So that's very important to get feedback every time. Maybe have a retrospective session, which we also encourage during mentorship program to do. Maybe in the middle, it would be also great if the duration is very long. and maybe in the end as well, just to see what went well, what not so well, and you can learn. You can learn as a mentor, and mentee also can learn as well. Great. Who's next?
I guess it's me. I was a bit too late to reach the mute button, so I'll go. So for me, I think the main learning or the breakthrough came when I had a mentee with a different personality. And by personality, I meant like, I'm a very extroverted person. I love being with people, and that's what keeps me energized. If you give me a topic which can hardly last like 5 minutes, I can talk 15. But not everybody is like that. And I thought everybody who like applies for mentorship or becomes a mentee always comes up with a super motivated mind, wanting to do something. And the first breakthrough happened when somebody was very introverted and found it very took a lot of time to open up and share. So I started with the usual techniques. I started asking like open-ended questions like, how was your day? How did you do? And most of the answers I would get from this person was like, yeah, it was good. It was fine. I'm well. Everything's going okay. And with these responses, I couldn't like work around, like it was dead silences. After some point of time, I realized that silence is okay, and possibly it's just me thinking, oh no, I have to do something to fill the silence because it's not going right. That the other person is probably comfortable in the silence. I should also probably learn to be comfortable in the silence. So after I think 5 to 6 sessions, which took, I think, much more longer time than any other mentee that I had, we started sharing a bit more and being more comfortable. And the one-liner sentences were 3-4 lines where I ask more questions and get a response, better responses. So I think it's also about creating a comfortable environment for a person to like be open and share something, and knowing that not everybody comes in with the same personality as you are, and having a mindset for you also to change and adapt to this person's needs. So yeah, that was something for me to learn, a challenge.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think we need to take into account that we need to get used to each other first, to understand what's the personality and how we can communicate with each other effectively, and then just have the conversation further. Great. Andrew, I think you're left, yeah?
Yeah, I'll kind of give a situation. So a mentee I picked up by accident, literally by accident. So I was having lunch, a colleague I didn't know very well happened to have lunch with me. We started speaking about a few bits and pieces. I could kind of tell there was something wrong and that they weren't happy. And dug into it a little bit and said, you know, if you want to talk, then like let's have a talk. Nothing really happened. A couple of days later, they came back and said, when you said you happy to talk, did you mean it? Yeah, of course. So we talked more and more, and eventually the problem started to come out. And it was a strange relationship in some ways, because they needed not just like a coach for work, they needed a coach for life. I'd never thought that I'd ever be anything like that. But this particular person did have like challenges outside of work as well as in, and they actually boiled down to very, very similar problems. And a lot of it was time management and being honest with the people around them, and that's what they really struggled with, of actually saying, I don't like this, this is a problem, and just helping them discover that, because you can't tell somebody that's never ever going to work. And for me, trying to figure out how to help them discover what the underlying causes were, what they needed to do, what action, just few actions they could take would actually change it round. And on top of that, like this particular person that I was helping at work, I was quite literally told to stop wasting my time on that, which I couldn't do. So I defied my managers and said, no, this needs doing. I'm going to carry on doing it. And I did it outside of work time, but they still weren't happy, but I carried on anyway. And lo and behold, it took probably only a matter of weeks, maybe 5 or 6 weeks of us meeting and talking, that they finally came to make some changes. And their personal life got better, their work life got better, their manager was much happier with what they were doing, and all of a sudden this person that was probably close to getting fired all of a sudden started to do really good work. And yeah, lo and behold, my managers were still like, that was a waste of time, why did you do that? But I didn't care, because I'd helped that one person and I felt good about it. And if a manager doesn't appreciate that, then I don't really care what they think, because they don't really know. And not only that, probably about 6 months later, this person came back to me and said, I realize now how much you turned my life around, and said thank you, and that they were going to try and spot those things themselves for other people. And he wanted to become a mentor, asked me a little bit about it. Did I think he could do it? And yes, I think he could. And that's one thing that I'll say to everybody, like whether you're watching now or afterwards, you probably can mentor. Like, you don't, I mean, I've been doing it a long while, which gives me a bunch of experience, but I've also heard from some very young mentees and mentors, and they can do it. You really can. And a lot of it is just listen, have a think about it, suggest a few things and see what works. And gradually you'll build up that experience of, if I tell somebody this, it might work. And also it's different for different people. So give it a go. It's such a rewarding relationship, that really do give it a go.
Thank you. Very inspiring story. And I just recalled from my mind that I always end up finding mentors accidentally at work, maybe at the conferences, just out there. And this is actually a really rewarding experience. So they're turning around my life, and I also thinking, okay, I just met him and her the coffee shop, I don't know. And yeah, we have a really great experience. So thank you very much for this panel discussion. It was really interesting, but we have still we have questions in the chat. I would like to, I think I will ask them. How would you approach a mentee? This is really interesting question. How would you approach a mentee who doesn't have a defined goal or goals, but perhaps wants to identify their goals? Who wants to share experience?
Okay, I'll give it a go. I think, I mean, I've had mentor-mentee relationships that have not been goal-orientated, and I think it's to some extent be fine with that. You can talk through, often it's talking through the problems that they've had, or a difficult relationship they have at work that actually teases these things out. So, you know, finding out what went well or what didn't go well in the past week or whatever usually teases these things out. There is a reason that they're looking for a mentor-mentee relationship. And even if they don't have, or I want to reach the next level, or I want to start doing people management, you often get very, very, very specific things. And sometimes it's not going well and I don't know why, and I just need some help. So for me, it's always been teasing out those, like, okay, so you say it didn't go well, what didn't go well? And it's like, I'm not being heard, or I don't feel I'm being heard. There's all sorts of different things that come up. And so teasing those out often leads to, okay, we'll set a goal of how do we get you heard in a meeting? And things, how about trying this? How about trying that? And then speaking soon after, like, did you get a chance to try it? How did it go? What went well? What do you feel you struggled with? And that in itself just leads to not necessarily very concrete and specific goals, but I think that's fine. I mean, I've had some mentees that are very goal orientated, and they have like 3 things that they want to do, and actually none of them really mattered because there was something else underlying. And so, you know, sometimes it is as easy as going, right, okay, we'll do 1, we'll do 2, we'll do 3, and then they're off, they're fine. Other times they do 1 and then they go, actually, I don't care about the other 2 because I've got this. And maybe it was just time to build up trust or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't worry if my mentee came to me and said, I don't know, I just need help. Then that's fine. We'll figure it out. It's a journey.
Yeah, good insight. This is a journey, but in this case, I think mentees should be open to uncover these goals. Otherwise, we can't identify them.
But I think in the direction what Andrew said, like I can say for me as a mentee, I do have very strict goals that I want to achieve. But right now, I put a hold on them with my mentor, and actually I'm going bi-weekly kind of things that I found out the last few weeks that I think that are more important right now, because my goal is long-term thing, and somehow this changed during the relationship, and now I want to focus in something else. By the question, I would say, okay, the goals are not clear, but you can have a talk and see if you can define, if you can identify something that you can say, okay, check mark that you did something. Because I think that's part of, at least I would feel like part of the motivation. But as Andrew said, it doesn't really matter if it's working for your relationship. You don't need to set a clear goal. It's nice to have. I see more and more these working, but I can also tell as an mentee experience from my side that I do have a clear, but somehow in the process, I got lost of my goals and something else come up that was more important in the moment. So I think just feel open, be open to discuss. Maybe you can define some other goals in the process, but if the mentee does not have this clearly, you can try to find out, to discuss, and then give some thoughts on that. But if they don't want to define anything, I think that that's still a valid option to make the relationship work.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Adriana, for your insight. I think there are some mentees here on the call, and we have this question. Is there any advice you would have for someone who is interested in being a mentee? Who has advice for that?
Just apply for it. We don't need the reasons for being a mentee. I think I am a senior engineer and I still find a good thing to have a mentor. And you just need to see why do you need it, or like if you want to go to a different position to become a lead, or to change, or just to improve some skills, soft skills. So we don't really need a reason to have a mentor, I would say. you just need to find someone to support you and or just to talk to you through some things that you could improve that you don't even know. So I just say, just apply it. I think you will just get a good benefit. But important, have the time for it. Just not apply if you don't have the time, because then you just need to be sure that you are committed to this program and to have some time, energy for the sessions, plus 2 extra work that you're going to have afterwards. So that's a very important part as well.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Thank you. Next question. Is there any advice you would have when mentor and mentee are colleague and work on the same project? How can they progress their mentoring relationship in a healthy way?
Well, that happened to me. I was working and my first mentees, they were my colleagues. So we worked in the same project, and it worked fine. we were, I wouldn't say friends already, but we had like a good relationship, and after we started the mentorship, we even got better. Our relationship grew, and it was amazing, because essentially, if you respect the other person and you are caring, and everything is going natural, because we are people. We don't. It's not a special, position or something like that. We just work as normal, and we try to help each other, and that, for me, it just works. I feel that even for me, it definitely improved the relationship, because we had more time together, and that was good.
Great. Yeah, thank you very much. Is there anyone can have anything to add to this?
I would also just add a thing that it's not really a bad thing to have the same people working together. You can also get different perspectives of what's happening sometimes on the projects, which you might be blind to. So it can actually develop, like Anna mentioned, into a very healthy relationship. So I would say look at it at a positive perspective rather than approaching it with a negative view.
Nice.
And if somebody wants to say something, Bhavna has her hand raised.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi guys. First of all, happy Women's Day to everyone. Okay, so this is a good platform. I just came across new to this. I'm working as a senior software engineer, right? So senior project manager. But the thing is, like this particular platform which speaks about mentor and mentee, right? I at this point, at this stage of life also, like after 16 years, I feel sometimes lost, like whether I can contribute, whether I need help. Surely I need help, because when we started our careers, so the things have gone obsolete now, right? So I am looking for someone who could guide me in this phase of life, right? Where people have gone obsolete in their skills, they want to learn, but they don't know the landscape which is open to them. So any such sort, we don't know which mentor, whom to talk. You're open to talk, because learning is a never ending process for anybody, be it mentor, be it mentee, right? So how to identify, I just heard Adriana was also referring to one of the question, like if you're open to talk on everything, you should not think, you should just talk and everything. But how would a person recognize? See, nowadays, like people are very accurate on what they want in life, but there are still people who are like in the midway of their careers, like almost in the midway of their careers. They know they want to progress, they want to succeed in life, they want to contribute, but they don't know what to do, how to do. I'm actually, I want this answer, and I just came across this meetup. I don't have any agenda or something, but I just came across, so I thought that I can put up this question. Maybe someone of you might have come across this situation in any of like life phases. So I just want to just talk with someone who could like help me streamline my strengths, maybe, which I think right now I don't have, but I want to achieve it and contribute and get help from others' contribution. So that's just my take.
A great question. Who has input for it?
Looks like Hazan wants to say something. He raised his hand, I guess.
There we go. I couldn't find the raise hand thing on Zoom, so I just raised my hand. My guess is that maybe Paula. Okay, so that's good enough. I suspect you may be conflating confident in this position with knowing what one is doing. I mean, no one knows what they're doing. I know what I'm doing. And yet people say, Hassan, you're so confident. You know, what must be doing? You're so confident. I'm like, I'm not. It's my general disposition confident, I guess. It's not something that I've worked on. It's something that comes naturally to me. I talk this way. It's the way I am, who I am. It doesn't mean I'm doing it. It just means I'm me. And a lot of people I know have mistaken it for knowing what I'm doing, but I don't. I say probably you do. That's all. Cheers.
Just on what Belova said, I would say like you need help, and just to identify that's a part of the mentor support that you get from any one of us. So I would just say, take a look at the mentor list that we have on the website. Look what is your current position and see who could fit more with your background. Then you can just try to set up a long-term relationship, or later in the ad hoc session if you don't have a clear goal or if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. So apply for the long-term mentorship for 1, 2, 3 mentors, and choose them by experience, by background. That would be my suggestion, because that's where you get more experience in language that you are looking for or something like that. And then while you were talking in the first session of a clear goal, if you have or if you don't have, or just want to identify which position you are now, what's next, what your next 5 years, then you can think about and discuss about some things for your future, for your progress to do it. So you don't need to know right now what you need. And that's exactly what Andrew said. Sometimes you just don't know it, just know that you need help. And that's still a good motivation, a clear goal for you to have a mentor. And even as I said, like you do have a couple of years of experience, and everybody can learn from your experience. So as I would say, why not to be a mentor as well and try to support others, because that's what I learned to being a volunteer. I not even say as a mentor. I found myself learning so many things, and it's filling my heart of love, of a good energy, that we as mentor could do that, and as a volunteer. So just support to the community, give back what you get it, and you got it in your career, in your relationship. And the mentorship part, you can just check what a person, a profile would fit to you, and just do it. And then during the sessions, you can find out what would work for you, what can you work, like if you want to speak up, or if you want to solve some issues in your work life or in your personal life, who knows, right? Some of my mentees just apply to me because I'm a mother, and they want to know how I am balancing my life and working and being like a tech person. And I found a very interesting reason to apply to myself, because I had so many expectations in life. And how can I support and tell others, it's okay if you don't have the time. So it's okay if you have so many problems, if you're just trying to figure out, you don't have time to learn, to self-improve, because this moment, maybe you don't, but it's okay. So I think that's something that helps me, and I just be there, try it, and I think that will gonna work out. Sorry, Eleonora, I took too much time.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I also remember how my mentor said to me that, you know, you can't, maybe for this moment, you don't have the goal, particular goal for now, and many more goals in your list. But don't worry about that. You know, there is two periods of times. The first one, when you're looking for a goal, and when you found the goal and you have it, you just identified, yes, I have it, then this is time for pursuing it. So I think there are two moments in life. So it's okay if you don't have it, then just look for it. And I hope this mentorship program can help you in anyhow. Yeah, thank you for your question. It was really great.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I think we will take only one question, and we will close our panel discussion. As a mentors, where do you draw your inspiration from to help mentees?
Can you repeat the question once?
As mentors, where do you draw your inspiration from to help mentees? Where you find your inspiration? How you motivate yourself?
Well, I just love to help other people. So for me, seeing these aha moments that my mentees have when we are in a session, for me, it's everything. I'm happy with that. And so I'm super inspired, and generally I move mountains to get new things or new challenge for them to do, because it drives me. It's my motivations. It's the thing that I love to do. I do it like for a long time. I before did workshops, and it was like amazing. And the first time that I did a boot camp, and you know, there were 32 people in the boot camp, and in the end there were 6. And I was like, oh, I was feeling, oh my God, there were 32, they all give up and everything. But then, you know, 2 weeks later, I received a Slack message. And this person said to me, Anna, I did my first PR. And for me, that was like, oh my God, you know, I did something, I helped somebody, you know, and this is more than enough for me. This is my motivation. This keeps me going and do more for people, because this is where, because I too, you know, I was a backender developer before. So I was 5 years at home with my kids, and then I came back and I decided to be an iOS developer, and completely different, no? And the community helped me. I had mentors too. I had people that I went to meetups, and people were there, and I, with my computer, they helped me do stuff. And I'm just giving back what I received. It's, for me, it's logical. It's just who I am. I have to give back because I received so much. So that's where I get my inspiration.
From yourself.
And from what others did for me, you know.
Yes. Yeah, that's really nice, inspiring. Okay, if if you're done. Yes, nobody can add. So if you want to add something, please, you have a moment.
Yeah, I can add something probably because I have seen like when I was studying in university, there was no role model that I could say like, oh, I want to grow up and be like her, at least in the tech industry. So for me, that was like a huge block where I could not find anybody and what I wanted to be. And that was a big part where I was like, I don't know what I wanted to be. And this huge discussion we had about not finding your goal. But when I was doing my master's, I had this professor who was working as a data scientist in the industry, and she used to come and teach us, subjects about data science. And I was like, yeah, I can grow up to be her. And that was some kind of motivation for me to like give back to the community and give something that I did not have, because maybe in the coming generation, there is some women out there thinking the same thing that I thought when I was sitting in university. So this is what keeps me passionate about mentoring. Like I can extend a hand to somebody and be that role model, which was not present for me. So yeah, that's my main motivation.
Thank you very much. I think we already discussed a lot, and it was I enjoyed this conversation. Every time I enjoy it. Thank you very much. It was a really great discussion. I hope our audience got all the answers they were looking for. And I hope you will find our website, and you will have, I will remind you, you will have only a couple of 5 days left before we close the registration for mentees and mentors for long-term relationships. And have a great evening, and see you around. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone.
You bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.